Welcome to Fish Hook. I'm Charles. Hey, today's session we want to talk about how to effectively rig up a popping cork on a rod, and not only just a popping cork but an adjustable one, and one that's just about 100% fail-proof. We'll follow up another video on how to fish it correctly, how to cast it, how to retrieve it, and how to work that popping cork. So let me show you what I've got. Obviously, I got my spinning rod here. I've got 15-pound braid that I'm using for demonstration purposes. The popping cork that I want to talk about, one that I've been totally impressed with, I've been with this for about 2 or 3 years now, is made by Bomber. It's called the Paradise Popper. You guys can see this. This is a total titanium shaft. Absolutely no kinks, nothing. This doesn't bend and it doesn't break. It comes with a stainless steel swivel, another stainless steel swivel. You've got 2 weighted brass balls here, a stainless steel ring, little washer, 3 fluorescent beads as a stop. This is the upright position. And I'm going to show you how to hook it on and how to put it in an adjustable fashion that you don't have to cut leader. That's nonsense. This is the easiest way I've ever found, and I use this in salt water and I use it in fresh water. So let me show you how I get it to be adjustable. I'll have a link to all these products in my bottom of the video. But these, if you look at this is bobber stoppers. Not just any old bobber stopper. I'll have a link to all these products in my bottom of the video. But these, if you look at this is bobber stoppers. Not just any old bobber stopper. They have the threaded ones. I think they're a pain because they're limited in application. Yes, they're adjustable, but let me tell you how infinitely adjustable these are. Let's say you're fishing fresh water. I do a lot of smallmouth fishing. My reels are usually spooled totally with mono, which makes a big advantage. I have spotted it on my electronics. I've seen smallmouth 28 feet below the surface, sometimes 40 feet. I might put on a jig head if I want to, or what's very famous with smallmouth are floating flies. So let's assume this is a weighted fly. You just tie this onto your leader after you put your cork on. But what makes it adjustable is that once you slide this on your line, and I'll show you how easy it goes on, you can slide it up. There's a little bead, and then I also have a little package, $1.59, little beads. I put a larger bead on for insurance purposes. The reason is, if you look, the swivel on these are pretty large, and the beads that come with these are a little small, and I don't want to take a chance. So an extra bead or two nice big bead won't hurt at all. It'll just secure the stop at where I have my bobber stopper. So I'll show you how we hook it up. Let's just tie on a leader. Let's make believe we're getting ready to go fishing, and I'm going to set it up. If I'm fishing with braid, what I normally do is put a 9 to 12 foot leader, monofluorocarbon. All right, let's leave it at that. Let's cut this. All right, we've got approximately 12 foot a leader. You guys can make it as long as you want. It's not going to hurt. It just gives you the ultimate flexibility because you're going to be cutting your leader when a fish hits it, especially a snook or a stripe or something with a very, very abrasive mouth, even a redfish. You know what they do to your leader. You're going to have to snip it off. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting these bobber stoppers, keep tying on a new leader. So we'll take about 6-8 inches of line. We're going to do our double uni knot. We'll start with the braid first. And like I always do, 5 times around, because braid will cinch up and will bite into the mono. We're gonna wet this. Put your hand over that knot. Make a loop with the braid, with the mono, and we're gonna go around it 3 times because mono does not bite down near the way braid does. Wet it, grab your leader, grab your tag, and slide it together. That's a beautiful knot. It's also referred to as a double jam knot in some circles. Depending on where you are in the country, everybody calls some of these knots differently. It's a double uni knot. Now, what we'll do, we'll take the end of this. On this top of this little bead that looks like a mouse pellet, there's a little loop in the wire. There we go, got it. All right, I'll just take about, say, 4 or 5 inches of line. Okay, that's how it is. Fold everything else back. This is all wire. Put your hand behind the bead. Now you're going to pull the bead, pushing that bobber stopper onto the line. We're going to slide it right on, just like this. I'm pulling it slow. There you go. Once you've gone past that, you can pull it out. That's how it is. So now we're going to push this down a little out of the way. We'll put an additional bead on for insurance purposes. This is so easy to do, and once you guys do this, you'll fall in love with this. You'll not want to do any other way of float fishing. This is so cool. Now, there you go. That's just an insurance. Right now, I've got it set up. Let's go up here. 3 foot. So I'm going to presume the fish are 3 foot, or I'm going to test the waters 3 foot below the surface. So this is where this bobber stopper is where my float's going to stop. Now, the other key part is this is the upright position. So the upper swivel, work this mono through there, as you can see, and then turn it upside down. You're going to work it through the bottom swivel. We're not tying onto the bobber stop up the floating cork at all. So this is what your thing is going to do. And when it gets in the water at that height, it's going to stop there. Before I get to whatever, whether it's a hook or a jig or a fly, or even maybe a DOA, the first thing I will attach, and I learned this by trial and error, I put on a swivel, a good heavy duty swivel. I make sure it's big enough it won't go through the swivel on this. I've already got a 1 foot leader on here tied on, which will go to my hook or my jig. So that's what we have, a swivel. Now on the termination end, if you're live bait fishing, say saltwater, you got a shrimp on. Depending again on what type of fish I'm after, if it's snook, redfish, or speckled trout, I'll tie on anything from a 1/1/0 to a 2/0. So when my float goes down, it doesn't get entangled in my hook if I'm coming back just with a hook or with the bait or with a fish. It can be a real mess when this is right there by the mouth of the fish as well. I need a little bit of room there to grab the line and grab the fish and not get tangled up in my bobber. So I normally, in my popping cork, I normally will put about 1 foot or so here. It won't hurt, even though 1.5 feet isn't going to hurt. And sometimes for insurance purposes, if you want to, you can also add a bead here as further protection that you don't get entangled with the swivel here. So now, the bait. Let's say you guys are going to put on a shrimp. A shrimp doesn't weigh anything. Say you're going to be obviously fishing in salt water. Problem with that is you got current and waves to overcome. What I found to work best, if I want to, in lieu of, you can do this if you want, in lieu of using a jig or a weighted fly or if you have this is great, but sometimes this, even with a 1/4 ounce or 1/2 ounce, doesn't overcome the current. Say I want to go down 5 feet. That's a lot of current to overcome. It's a lot of volume of water. What I do is, you can buy these anywhere, and I'll have links below. Removable split shot sinkers. They make them all the way up to 1/2 ounce. I usually will go up about 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 inches up from my live bait. And I do this not to inhibit the action of the bait. I want it to stay lifelike. I'll put on a split shot sinker. I'll put it on here, and there'll give me a little bit more weight to direct that. Once the float goes out there, that line is going to slide down. And with limited movement, I don't want it up on the surface. Many times I saw my bait floundering up there, and I'm saying, wow, it didn't overcome the current, and I have no weight. So once I had weight, went straight down, kept this cork right where it needed to be. And it also helps keeping this thing straight. So that's what I use for live bait. If I'm smallmouth fishing and I'm using weighted flies, that's the famous float and fly, I do an adjustable float like that. And I usually have reels that are all mono, which is really a plus for this type of fishing. And I could slide that bobber stopper up as much as I want because it effortlessly goes through the guides and onto your reel and doesn't hang up anywhere. Here you have it, a floating cork that is almost indestructible. I would say 100% fail-proof. There are probably other manufacturers that make this style. This is titanium blank. Doesn't. If it bends, it goes back to original form. Unlike every other cork I've gotten, it's so irritating. I just don't use them anymore because they're going to get mangled up when you catch a fish, or he trails in, you get caught in the mangroves, or you get caught on rocks or whatever. He takes it down. You got yourself a problem. And then it takes 2 pliers. It never gets straight where this thing floats uninhibited. That's the problem. It's always something in the way. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Our videos are all enabled for comments now. Please send me comments, send me pictures. Let me know how successful you guys are with this new popping cork setup. This is fully adjustable. So, guys, thanks so much, and we'll see you on the next one.